Hello and welcome. This video is part of a series I'm doing on my channel related to a multi-day 4th of July vendor event that I just did a few weeks ago. I would consider myself to still be more on the beginner side of doing these vendor events, but I'm starting to cross over into the more regular or intermediate level vendor. And in this series, I'll be sharing some of my stories, the lessons I've learned, my favorite tips and tricks so far, my booth layouts, my displays, basically my blood, sweat, and tears when it came to this event specifically. I want to help others who are around my level or a little below, or those who are only thinking about doing these events themselves and need a little boost. And I hope I help you learn something. So let's get started on this episode. The recap of my latest event. Alright, hello and welcome again everyone. This is episode 2C of my series. If this is the first episode you're watching, this is it was going to be a 6-episode series at first, but now the second episode turned into 3 of its own episodes. So this is the third, part C of that. Originally, episode 2 was supposed to be about, as a whole, the event that I did recently. That was a multi-day 4th of July event in the city. So this portion, 2C of this, is going to be about the actual event, like the days of the event, like the 3rd, the 4th, and 5th of July. So we're going to go through each of the days. And I have footage that I filmed actually when I was there. I wish I would have filmed more, but, Anyway, so I'm going to deal with what I have and talk about it. Actually, I already filmed that part. I'm filming this after, but I go through each day and explain, like, as much as I can remember what happened those days and my thoughts about it and whatnot, and changes I'm going to make in the future and stuff like that. And then, I'm going to actually film, right after this, I'm going to film a recap of my overview that I did in episode 2A, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. First, because I think to kind of, even if you have watched all those episodes, I'm going to kind of recap what I said, because it's relevant especially to the stuff that I'm talking about in this episode. So we're going to do a little recap of the overview to go along with this episode again. But I do a detailed one in episode 2A. Well, anyway, why don't we talk about that? So episode 2A, in case you missed it, was about my overview. The first portion of that video was about the overview of the event itself. And then I talked about like the process of the application and the initial prep for this event. And then the second episode, episode 2B, was about my kind of crunch time before the event, like getting the products ready and everything like that, and talking about planning. That is the episode before this, episode 2B. And that was from about a month out to about a week out from the event. And I didn't film as much that time as I wanted to. I wanted to kind of lead up to the event, but I didn't quite get it all every day. I stopped filming because I had to get stuff done. So, but you get some idea from like a month out, 2 weeks out, and then a week out in that video. And then now again, this one is about the event itself. So the actual first day of the event, the second day of the event, and the third day event. But that's what you have to look forward to in this video. Let's get to the quick recap of the overview because it makes sense for the rest of the video. All right, so to recap the overview that I did in episode 2A, which again, if you want the detailed version, you should go to that. All right, so in that episode, I talked about how the event went overall. So first of all, overall, I thought it was good. Overall, I expected a little more at first, but bringing all my level of experience and everything into it, and where I am in my journey as a business, I felt content with how things went, and I felt like I improved everything. Like it was good for me overall. I think a lot of other people may have been discouraged, like the other vendors, because I'm going to get to the reasons why kind of in a minute. But overall, we didn't get a lot of traffic in our area, and therefore, all of us didn't make very much money at the event. So, people got kind of discouraged by that, like, oh, is it worth it to be here? I thought it was worth it for a couple of reasons. Again, like I said, I improved everything. I felt like this event changed my life again, because I was kind of in a slump before this. I talk about that in episode 1, actually. And this kind of kicked me into gear. So overall, right away, just that helped me. Also, like I finally got enough product out there, and I got a tent set up going, like a good one. and I'm starting to be more professional. Like I'm starting to get to the level where, okay, I'm finally doing this. Like I finally feel confident in doing this. So that helped me. As far as the kind of bad things that happened, that led into people getting discouraged. So, like I said, there wasn't much traffic, and that was kind of because of two reasons. One, this was a 4th of July festival, like I said, but they had all this other stuff going on, and we were kind of extra to that. So people are already spending their money on, food and beverage and the rides if their kids are there, or if they want to go to rides, and like all the other stuff that was in the festival already. So, they weren't going to a small business market or a vendor market with the intent on buying things from people, even though that would have been nice. But they weren't there for that. We were extra. So if they had extra money to spend, some of them did. And I did get some sales. You'll see that. But overall, like a lot of people, even if they did come over there, didn't want to spend the money because they already spent so much. And again, this wasn't the intent of the festival to get people to buy things from us. We were extra if they had the extra money. So that's why, we didn't get as much sales. Also, overall, I didn't hear this directly from anyone, but there are other vendors that came up to me and told me that people were telling them that, oh, I didn't even know you were here, back here. Like, there's no one telling us you were here or anything. Like, we were kind of in the back, in a way. And just a not as used part of the festival, I guess. Like, there was other things there. There was a tent back there that was like it was called the North Tent, and they had certain activities there, like every day. And when people came to those activities, when they knew about them, because sometimes people didn't even come to those because they didn't know about them, there was more crowd in the area when those things were going on. So we got a little bit more traffic because of that. But when those activities weren't going on, there were people kind of filtering in here and there, but a lot of them, like they said, didn't know we were there because even though they said, oh, like again, the North Tent was near us, go to the North Tent for this at this time or whatever, because they had a PA system. A lot of people don't pay attention to that. And also that, they had a bunch of social media posts about it and stuff. But again, a lot of people don't pay attention to that either. And some people aren't on social media at all. So, that wasn't enough, basically, is what I'm saying. They needed something else to kind of direct people there. I think, and this is something I could help with, like I said in that video, episode 2A, I make signs. I could make an eye-catching sign for you to direct people there. Like, hey, big arrow, there's more festival this way. You can check out the North Tent with all these activities. You can check out the small business market and all the other things that were back there. Because there's more this way, because most people just kind of stayed in the main area, which is what we weren't part of. We were kind of back, like I said. So I'll see if I can post a picture of the map and kind of talk about what I'm talking about, or maybe I'll do a voiceover about it. Okay, here is a clearer view of the map. If you see that red triangle sort of towards the top in the center, it's next to the star. So the triangle is where we were. And the North Tent is the one I was talking about where they had like occasional activities in. And then that big East Tent that's kind of right near on the map, it's on like the right and a little bit down. That's the tent that you can kind of see in some of my footage, you'll see, and that's where the big band was. And like the beer and everything, like I said. And then there's a West Tent as well that's towards the bottom. That was the other main tent that had like beer and music and stuff. So most of the people kind of hung out in that area. And it doesn't really say on here. Oh, it does. There's rides here. There's carnival games along towards the bottom there. So all of that area was kind of like the main area. The people were kind of hanging out in it, and everything else was just extra. So we were, again, that red triangle, and there was a fence, like I said, in between where our tents were and like the East Tent and the star where it says best drone show viewing. So in between that area and us was a fence. So there was an area around the fence where they could get in there, but a lot of people didn't bother. But this is the map, just to give you an idea. Yeah, overall, like people didn't know we were there because like they had the main tents like the east tent and the west tent, and both of those were like the big tents that had the bands in them throughout the day, and like the beer and like all the food was out there. And then they had like an area for like the rides and stuff for the kids, again, or adults, depending on who wants to go on the rides. Mostly for the kids. But anyway, that was all out there, like kind of far away from us. The east tent was kind of close because it was like right behind my tent, and you can hear the music. You'll hear the music in some of my vlog parts, like in the background, and that's part of the reason why I didn't film very much too, is because the music was kind of blaring. But it was nearby, but there was also like a fence separating us. There was a little bit of a walkway from that area too, but there was a fence separating us. So like you had to kind of figure out how to get back there if you even saw it, So that's another reason. Like I said, they need a sign that says, "Hey, there's more this way. Come on this way. Check this out." Like filter in over there for a while. You can always come back, because a lot of people stayed in that area. But anyway, so that was like the main issue where we didn't get much traffic, even though there was, a good amount of people there. But we got enough. Like I said, I made more sales than I did overall at any other events I've done. So not even just the sales too. I seem to have more engaged people, as in like they are interested, like actually interested. Not because I talked about in other episodes how people would ask me about something and they'd be like, "Oh, give me your information," and then I never hear from them, and I never, gain any following or anything on social media from them or anything. I did actually gain some followers. So, like, again, I measure that as a success too. I'm finally connecting with the community, finally, and people overall, So that again got better. Everything, pretty much all of my metrics went up with this event, so I'm happy with it. But anyway, so again, overall, pretty good. The next thing I talked about basically in that overview was the weather, basically. So you're going to see more about that when we go through in the vlogs, but not too bad weather. The weather wasn't too bad overall. It was hot because it's, the beginning of July, and even in Wisconsin here up in the north, it gets pretty hot in July. So I don't remember the exact temperatures, but the heat index, I think, was in the 100s or the 110s at some point. It was pretty hot. And you'll see in the videos too, like the sun is blaring on me, especially the first 2 days. I end up moving my checkout stand back the third day, and it's also, getting ahead of myself, but it's also windy that day. So the third day wasn't as hot. It was nice. But the first 2 days were very hot. Didn't have to deal with rain while I was there, but it did rain in between the first 2 days. So sometime overnight or early in the morning, the second day, it rained. So I had to kind of deal with the aftermath of that, like setting up my tent the next day. But it didn't rain while I was there, which was nice. And like I said, the third day, it was windy. The third day also, there was a storm that was kind of threatening to come in, and they were kind of like, "Oh, you're probably going to have to close down early or whatever." And they ended up closing down at 8 on that day rather than 11. We were supposed to be open till 11. So, and then also that it was a precaution that they, shut everything down. They probably could have stayed open. I think it rained a little bit, but there was no lightning or anything like that. There was, the winds were kind of bad all day. But there wasn't like the storm had basically dissipated by the time it got to us, which is what happens usually around here lately. But you never know. But anyway, so, as a precaution, they shut down early. And I was going to shut down early anyway that day, even if they didn't tell me to. So all of the vendors kind of were talking to each other like, "Yeah, the storm's coming. We should probably just leave early." And we ended up leaving early a little bit every day, and I talk about that in the daily stuff. It ended up, we probably could have stayed open if we had to, is what I'm saying, but we ended up closing early. But I also dealt with the wind on the third day, and I talk about that more when I talk about the third day in this video. But that's basically what I talked about, kind of overview of the event, and we'll get into more details as this video goes on. So let's get started with that. So the next thing I want to talk about is the setup, that beforehand. Again, other than that, I'm going to show you the products in the products and display video, but I can show you a few of them here. This is what I did actually finish in time, examples of it, and you'll see it in the videos too. But anyway, so the day of Thursday, July 3rd, so the setup was from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and the event was going to start at 3. So I think like you had to be there at least by 12 p.m. so that you could register or whatever, like check in with the lady that was in charge. And I did that like right away. We got there like 9:15, 9:30, and we were like the first ones there, of course. And then like we were there about an hour, and we ended up, because we did 2 rounds of setup. We did the tent and like the tables and all the big stuff. Did that first, then came back home and had lunch, and then I had to run to like a craft store real quick to grab some stuff. Because again, I wanted to work on stuff in the booth, and I did kind of do that, so it wasn't a waste. So I had some time in between, and then we came back right before 12 and got me back with all the products and everything, and then my husband left and I finished setting everything up. So that's when these videos are going to start after that. But anyway, like I said earlier, my husband came to help me, and we could drive on the grounds, so we didn't need the wagon to bring everything over there. Set up the tent first, and like I said, it ended up being a little longer, like this way. Here's the front of the tent. So it was like 10 foot wide, but then it was like, I didn't measure it, but like 15, or I don't think it was 20, like 15, maybe 12, 15 feet this way. So it was kind of like, and we were the first ones there, like where are we, like, so I ended up putting it kind of in the middle. So we set up the tent, moved it to like the middle, and we were there for an hour, like getting all that set up, like the tent and the side walls and the my makeshift grid wall, which I gave my husband to do that task as well, and he didn't do it, exactly the way I had envisioned, but it worked out. It's just like the way I had it set up ahead of time. Like he wasn't there to see it anyway, so but it worked out. Like I said, it's probably not gonna be a problem next time because I'm going to have something different, because I didn't do it yet, but I'm going to be putting those in my garden pretty soon because my tomato plants are starting to come up. I'm a little slow this year on my gardening, but they're starting to get to the point where I need like support. So they're going to be going on the garden, so I'm not going to have them anymore, but I used them for this event. I'm going to get either like a professional grid wall or like a cattle panel or something like that. We'll talk about that more in the layout and display videos. But anyway, I gave him that task. So he set up, when we both set up the tent, he set up the sidewalls. He figured that out. He set up the grid wall for me, and he set up my little area behind the checkout stand. My little, I have curtains technically that I have with my logo. I had them made years ago, and I was using them as like tablecloths at some of the events, or backdrops in some of my videos. Well, now it's kind of a backdrop for my tent. And I may get different ones or more later, but anyway, so they're curtains technically, and they do have little like holes where you can hang them in with like a little hooks or whatever, but we ended up zip tying it to the tent. I don't remember exactly why, but that was his decision. So, but anyway, he put that up for me, and then I worked on the tables and the tablecloths and like putting everything where it was supposed to be. And what else? Is there anything else at that point? I don't know, but we got done in like an hour. And when we were leaving was like kind of right before we were going to leave, maybe like 45 minutes into when we were there, another person finally showed up, and I'm like, where is everyone? Because we were the only one there. Again, like I get it to some extent because the event didn't start until 3, but like I wanted to make sure like the tent was up, everything was staked down, because we staked it down too. I forgot to say that. We staked it down. I did have weights, but I didn't bring them with. I'm going to talk more about that in the display video, but it wasn't really needed at that event because we were staked in pretty good. And even the third day was windy. We're going to get there. I think I said that already though. And no problem whatsoever. Like didn't fly, nothing flew out or anything like that. So it was staked down real good. And I checked it every once in a while. Anyway, so we got all that done in an hour. But like, again, 45 minutes into it, someone else showed up. We're like, geez. But we did that, and then we went back and for a second round later. But like I said, we had lunch, and I had to stop at a store. And then, we made it back before noon, which was like like I said, this part wasn't very clear in the instructions, like, but you have to set up between 9 and noon. But I think it's like to get there between 9 and noon to start setting up. Because again, it didn't start until 3. So after we had gotten there right before noon, I was there from right before noon until 3, setting up the rest of everything, putting all the products out, getting my registration area ready, blah, blah, blah. And my husband, like, he's like, I'm probably going to be in your way. I'll just leave you alone. I'm like, cool. Like, if I need you, I'll let you know. Because, again, we live in this city, so it wasn't far away. So if I needed something, I could just text him and be like, hey, I need you. Like, but I didn't really have to do that. But anyway, so, I spent the rest of the time doing that. So then I started filming. I have one, like, before everything opened that we're going to start with. And then I'm going to kind of show you how the tent was set up. And the only time I got any footage of my checkout stand, which I hate, because I did a better job of organizing it later, and I didn't, like, I wanted to explain what I had there, and I didn't ever do that. I didn't get any footage. I didn't get any pictures, any videos. So I'm going to have to kind of remember where everything was, which, but anyway, in this first clip, you're going to see all that. It's like before I started. So let's play this and I'll tell you if I need to add anything to it. All right, day 1 of the festival is just about to start. I am almost ready. Ready enough. I'm going to show you how organized I am back here, which is a joke, but it was better than it was when I first got here. And then I'm going to show you the booth. I'm going to show you what I have available. I didn't finish everything, obviously, so I haven't filmed, but I'm going to update as much as possible, but things are kind of busy. I will probably do most of my talking after the event, but I'm about half hour away from the first day, so I'm going to show you what I got so far. Alright, so this was the checkout area. Like I said, very messy at this point. I did organize this better, but you can see I had some of those flag signs and even some wood signs that I was going to try to do and some other things, and I didn't get that done at all any of the days. But this is my booth setup. Not bad. It was a little tight in between those two, and I think that might have kind of deterred people from coming in. Because a lot of people that did stop by kind of stayed in the front and didn't really go in. A couple people did, but some people were like, I don't know. So I think I might have to change that for the next event. And then here's some pictures as well. Get an idea of some of the products that I actually finished in time, and then I took a selfie for my social media. Kind of awkward selfie, but, good enough. So that was the first clip. Then I have this had happened before, I think before that one, but maybe after. This is just me filling up my vending machine. I'm going to have this again in my vending machine video. But just to kind of show you something that I was doing, I filmed a little bit of me setting up, but not really. So I'll show you this. And again, I know I didn't really mention it in this video, but I have a vending machine. And I have a video that's going to be all about that, but I'm going to kind of mention it in some of the clips later. But anyway, I painted it for the event, which I'm probably not going to do again. I'm probably going to end up just painting it my colors for my logo, which is actually the same color as that front is without the stars. I don't think it was really worth it decorating it. I thought maybe it might be, but it's not. So, but anyway, so in there I had vouchers for $5, $10, $15, or $20. Which you would pay for a token, which is $5. You paid $5 for a token. So you wouldn't lose any money, but you buy a token for $5, and then you get either 5, 10, 15, or 20. Now you can put actual things in the vending machine too, within reason. It's, it's size requirements and stuff like that, but I wanted to do vouchers this time. I might end up doing other things later. I think that's part of the reason why people didn't really use it. I did have one person you're going to see, not this day, but the next day. There's one person that wanted to use it. I talk about that in the video. We'll get there. But other than that, people were kind of confused by it. Like, what is that? What is this? What is that? And I have a sign, and they didn't really understand what was going on. And I talk about that more in the vending machine video, and I think in these videos as well. But, that was the reaction I got, was like, oh, that's weird. Like, vending machine, what's that? Like, so I thought it was going to be more of a draw than it was, and it wasn't. But I think it's more the festival. And again, just overall, those people aren't there typically at a craft market, where I think that when I bring this to a different event, which is more of a craft market, people are going to be more receptive to it, I think. But I'm going to talk more about that in the vending machine video. That's coming up soon. I think it might be the next video, actually. But anyway, that's my vending machine. I'm going to talk about, like I said, there's a couple of clips where I talk about it because I'm like telling people's reactions to it or whatever. But that was me filling it up. So that was the one thing I filmed like while I was setting up. So there's that. Then, okay, so I have more clips. Day 1, I did a lot more filming of the vlog type stuff than the rest of the days. In fact, it kind of dwindled. The third day was like I had one clip, and then I had the rest of them were just, because it was so windy, I was watching my signs. You'll see that in the video when we get there. But I'm going to talk more about that here when we get there. But the vlog stuff, I did more on day 1 than I did any other day. And then, 2 and 3, not as much. But I also thought that, you'll see in the clip, we're going to get there, I thought that it was going to be busier the other 2 days because, well, this first day was Thursday. So, and it was like in the evening after work for most people. And there was still stuff going on. There were still bands there and everything. But they didn't have like a major event. The major event that they had that night was like a flashlight hunt, candy hunt for the kids. Don't ask me how exactly that works because I wasn't there. But that's what they had that day. The next 2 days, they had fireworks the next day, second day. And then they were supposed to have a drone show the third day because they did both the fireworks and drones. And because of the storm, they ended up rescheduling it for Sunday instead. And I didn't see that at all. I saw the fireworks, but I didn't see the drone show. I was going to stay originally for it when it was Saturday, the third day. But since it was canceled, and I'm not going back Sunday to see that. Like, I'm not that interested in it. But anyway, those 2 days originally, like they have more people there because people want to see that, so they come in. Plus, it was actually the 4th, and it was a Friday, and then it was like the day after when it was Saturday. So more people are in general like off of work and ready to do that stuff then, not on Thursday night. So I thought Thursday night was going to be the slowest. Well, it turns out that Thursday was actually, in the context of our area, more busy than the other days, which is strange, you would think. And maybe it just felt that way. I felt like there was more engaged traffic Thursday. That's what I think overall afterwards. And even at the end of Thursday, I was expecting, well, I think there's more people that are going to come Friday and Saturday, but that really wasn't the case. Or more engaged people. Money-wise, even Thursday was my best selling day too. And even quantity-wise, things I sold was better Thursday. So Thursday was actually my best day. But as you see, we're going to see in the clips I'm going to show you, those, I had the impression at the end of day 1, like, oh, it's probably going to be busier the next 2 days, but it wasn't actually. So Thursday both I had more filming and it was busier overall. You'd think I'd film more the other days when I wasn't as busy, but part of the reason I wasn't filming a lot either was because of the music, because I could hear it from the east tent behind me. And it kind of interfered. And you're gonna hear it kind of in some of the clips, and I'm gonna be like, I hope you can hear me, but I think you can hear me. But that kept me from filming. Also, you're gonna see too in the clips, a couple of them from the first day. I'm like, yeah, people are looking at me funny because I'm talking to myself, because I was alone in my booth and I'm talking to my phone, which was the camera. But a lot of times, because I had a tripod with me, I had the camera up, like kind of behind something, and I was just talking to it, where like people weren't aware that I was talking to a phone, at least. So that's part of the problem. But that might be another reason why I didn't film as much, because I'm like, people think I'm crazy. Maybe I should just stop. So that's another reason why. And so I did take some notes as well on some of the days, but not really that much. But I'm going to try to remember as much as possible, day by day, what happened. But anyway, let's start getting to the clips. All right, one thing I'm noticing so far, well, actually two things. I'm like an hour and a half into the event. So the first thing is, it's already messed up again. I have my YouTube playlist playing on my iPad in that corner back there. And one, I have to keep getting up and changing it, because most of the time the full screen comes off. That's the thing that I've been changing. But, and I did it again, like I said. I have to go fix that. The other thing is, no one has seen it yet, because it's back there in the corner. No one has mentioned it. Usually it's the only thing that people mention when they go in my booth. So, I'm thinking of switching and putting my vending machine back. I'm not sure about that. And then bringing that out front. However, there's some people coming. However, what I haven't liked at my other events, when I've had it in that position basically, is it's facing away from me, so I can't tell if I need to fix it. There's been a couple times where people are like, the screen is empty, or whatever, and I can't fix it because I don't know. I have to keep flipping it around. So I'm thinking of changing it, but that's the reason I don't want to. Alright, I got my first "that's so cool" when someone walked by. Because people haven't really been commenting on my work yet. The other thing I was going to say is, the vending machine is basically confusing people so far. A lot of them don't seem to understand that they buy a token, and I give them a token, and then they get a voucher, which is what the sign says. And they're reading the sign and they still don't see that. I'm not sure if that's the sign's fault or, I know it can be a little unclear. I'm not sure how to fix that. Maybe I'll fix it before tomorrow. But no one has been even interested in buying anything from the vending machine yet, even after I explain it. But that's probably because they don't want to buy anything, and they don't. Most people aren't going to want custom orders, I know, but that's what I like doing. But they don't. I have enough signage up, but people haven't been like, oh, you can do that custom order, so because they can use their voucher towards something like that too. So it's like having to explain it to every person who comes by, and I'm not sure who's actually interested and who isn't. So it's been a challenge. But it's only been an hour and a half. And I got 2 more days still, and I got 6.5 hours left here today. And then 2 more days that are longer. So maybe there'll be more people that'll be more interested later. It's kind of slow today, but this is probably going to be the slow day. Tomorrow's probably going to be the busiest day. So we'll see how that goes. But so far, no purchases, not a whole lot of interest. I had one that's cool that just happened. That's it. I think people have kind of said it about my smaller signs that I have in front too. They've been like, oh, that's cute, one sign. But not interested in buying a lot of this day, so not yet. We'll see how things are going. I don't know if I should switch the vending machine and the iPad with my YouTube yet. Also, the other thing I was going to say, if the vending machine is back there, then it might be better, because I because I thought, sorry, someone walked by. I thought people think I'm talking to myself, and I kind of am, but it's alright. I thought, what was I saying? I thought having the vending machine up front would draw people in, but it's not. Well, it kind of is, but not in the way that I wanted it to. So I'm thinking maybe having it in the back would be better. But again, I don't want my iPad in front, because then I can't fix it. I'd have to check it all the time. And it's easier to just look over my shoulder and fix it, and then get up and fix it, rather than having to turn it around. So I think I'm going to leave it the way it is, but we'll see. Other than that, things are working all right. We'll see if I get people that actually are interested in what I do. I think tomorrow is going to be better than today anyway, so that's my update for now. Yeah, one of the things I was kind of trying to decide is, I didn't mention this before, but I do have my iPad playing with my YouTube videos of me working on stuff in my booth. I've had that for a while in a few different events, and with it being where it was in my layout, which again we're going to talk more about in the layout video, but it was so like where I was here, then there was like the big table that had like the benches with all the products on it. Then my 4-foot table was like coming this way in that back corner that way. And there's that kind of spot where the tables meet, and like you could like reach over and grab something from there if you wanted to. Like it's a little difficult with the bench in front too of the 6-foot table. But what I'm saying is it's kind of hard to reach over there, like in the corner, and grab something. So that's why I put my iPad there, because, I thought that would be a good spot for that, because you don't have to grab anything. And plus it makes it harder for people to just grab my iPad and run onto my booth. Not that anyone did that or even threatened to do that or anything like that. Like I said, most people didn't even see it. So, but that's the reason I had that in the corner, which I might have to rethink my whole layout, which, is going to be part of the layout video, or like later on when I talk about stuff like general tips and stuff. But that's why I had it there. But having it there meant people didn't really see it. And part of that too was when I said earlier, when people wouldn't really come into my booth, like they would kind of look at like the front and see if it's worth going in there, and they didn't really see the iPad. So they didn't go in there and really look. And like even the people that did go in there though, like none of them said anything about it. Like, oh, you have videos of you working? Like none of them. So, and whereas other events, when I was saying I had that in front of me or in a different spot, and people would see like, oh, like I see you working there, like, whatever the video is. And, I would get more comments about it or what. But what I don't like about it being in front of me is that I can't like keep an eye on it. I have to kind of go around and look, or I have to turn it around myself, and then fix it. Because I had it like at the previous event that I did with the Stonewood Village that I talked about in my first video. That one was the last like major one I did, and it was the one that I was sort of ready at, and I had my iPad there, and it was like in front of me like this, like here, like if you imagine this is my iPad. And a couple times someone said something like, or they like, first of all, there's kids like staring at it normally, which is again what I'm trying to make kids stare at my videos, but like I'm trying to get people to see it, and then I know they're watching. But there have been a couple of either kids or adults saying to me like, oh, your battery's low, or like I can't see anything, what's supposed to be there, like, and so I have to, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize something was wrong, and then I have to like fix it. Especially with the frequency that it was happening at this event, like I had to keep fixing it because the full screen kept coming off, or I wanted to skip the video or whatever, like the rest of this video I don't really care about, because again, I said in the video before, I want to make a better video where it's shorter clips and I put little advertisements in it and stuff, because right now it's like the full videos for my YouTube of me doing like murals and windows and stuff like that. And the end of those videos sometimes don't have anything in them, anything interesting. So it's like, oh, I'll go and skip that because, you know, you don't need to watch that part. And then I have to get up and skip it. So, like, that was going on. And I liked having it over my shoulder, like I said, because I could just glance at it every once in a while. Oh, I gotta go fix that. But if it's in front of me, then I can't. Um, so that was an issue. Then the vending machine too, like I said, people were like, "What?" And we're going to talk more about that as time goes on too in these clips. But having the vending machine back there, like I said, it wasn't really a draw as much as I thought it was. That's why I wanted it kind of front and center there. And like I said, it really confused people more than anything at this event. So like I think I have to reconfigure my booth. And I'm not 100% sure how to do that yet. But it's probably not going to be exactly the same as this at my next time. But this is one of those problems that I was thinking of in the moment, trying to like solve. I ended up not moving anything, by the way. Well, not the third day I moved some stuff, and I didn't have my iPad there even bother the third day. And then I had moved my checkout stand back, and then you'll see in the videos eventually. And then I moved my vending machine over a little where it wasn't right in front, but it was to the side in front of my checkout stand. But you'll see that in those videos. But other than that, I didn't move anything. Like I didn't switch anything around or whatever. But that was what I was kind of trying to figure out in the moment there. Then I have some more clips. Now some of these I did vertical orientation and some of them horizontal, but this is a longer one.
Okay, so I'm definitely bringing sunglasses tomorrow, even though, you know, I don't really need my glasses. I don't need to see. I'm nearsighted, so
I forgot my sunglasses the second day.
I need them for distance.
And I brought them the third day, but the third day I didn't really need them. So
I was trying to figure out if the sun's gonna get worse or better, because I'm trying to figure out what direction I'm actually facing. I'm having trouble with that. But this right in front of me is the north end. This is the east end. And I think the west end is that way. Which would make sense, north, west, east. So, if the sun rises in the east, it sets in the west. It's basically going to go, you know, that way. So eventually it'll get better, but I think it's going to get worse first. So, I need sunglasses tomorrow. I considered them, and then I'm like, nah, I'll be fine under the tent. I don't really have much of a place to go to hide from the sun other than, like, putting my back to the front. Maybe I'll get more sales that way. People won't look at me. Well, the other thing I was going to say, too, is I have, like, the worst forced smile ever. And if I don't force smile, and I'm not, you know, actually smiling, then I have RBF pretty bad. So, I'm trying to look friendly, but I don't know how to do that
that's
properly.
another problem.
Hope this copyright music is okay. So, it's a different, you know, version of that. Oldies, like my papa likes. Miss my papa. But, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought. I did have another lady who was older, probably a millennial like me, saw my assistant Chaz sign. You can't see her, right? She went a little closer. She's like, I saw you in the month. Oh, that's cute. She walked by. It was funny. She had a dog, too. But so far, those are my meaningful interactions. But I'm now 2 hours in. We'll see. I think things are going to pick up towards the night anyway, because there's more activities at night. So, like I said, today is probably the slowest day, because it's Thursday and it's also the 3rd. So, tomorrow's the 4th and it's Friday. There's fireworks at night, so I think that'll help. Also, I just finished my second granola bar out of 6, so I probably would slow down, I guess, 1 hour, but then, you know, I had 2 hours without it. Anyway, that's it for now. There was a giant ass bee. Okay, stay away. I'm not fond of bees. Please stay out of my tent. Okay, I think it's inside. No, it's not. It's in the other one. Hey, stay out of my tent. I got a fly swatter. I'll use it. The bee swatter. Okay, anyway. In fact, I had a smaller bee in my tent earlier, and it went under my tent to get out. Nice. I got my sidewalls up. Anyway, I think that's it now. More later. Bye.
So about the bugs, I think, did I mention this already? The sidewall, I mean, other than in the video, the sidewalls helped with like keeping most of them out of the tent, but when one would come in, they get kind of stuck in there. But since the sidewalls aren't like completely secure to the tent, they could like find their way out up on the top or on the bottom. So they eventually did. So I didn't really have to deal with it. I did bring a fly swatter, actually. I think I said that. I brought a fly swatter. Didn't really use it though. Actually, I think I used it once to try to like coax one out. But other than that, but I did bring bug spray too, and I didn't really need it because I was worried about like mosquitoes at the end of the night. But partially because of my fan that I had, that helped keep them out. But also, I think the sidewalls also helped keep them away. So, yeah, just note about bugs.
One more thing, real quick. I just pulled one of these frozen water bottles out of my cooler, and it's still frozen. I have a little bit of water at the top, so anyway, I gotta take it out to thaw it out, because otherwise I'm not gonna have water in a minute. I got maybe a quarter left in here. That's all I have to drink. So. Back to the end of the tent. But I also don't want to drink too much, because I can't really go to the bathroom. I'm trying to avoid that. I was going to make a temporarily closed sign just in case I had to use it. I didn't do that, so. But at some point I think my husband's going to be here, so I can maybe go to the bathroom like he's here. Hold the fork down while I quickly go to the bathroom. Yeah, so about the bathroom stuff. So, like I said, I was trying not to try to have to use the bathroom. Trying not to drink too much, but trying not to dehydrate myself either. The first night is when I had like the most struggle with it. You know what? Let me double check my text messages from back then and see when around my husband showed up that day. Hold on. I ended up texting him at like 10:20, and when I texted him, because we have each other's location or whatever, I hadn't looked in a while, and I looked, and I was like, "Oh, you're here," because I texted him like, "I'm not sure what you want to do. I'm pretty much the only vendor left here. They all packed up and left." I haven't gotten to that point in the story, but right before that, I ran to the bathroom because I'm like, I can't hold it anymore. I gotta go. So probably like 10-ish or 10:10-ish or something. I went and like ran to the bathroom. But like I said in the text message, I think there was one vendor still there besides me. Everyone else packed up and left. Because when it started getting dark, no one really showed up in our area at all. Not this day. The other day is when it's, well, no, the next day, because the other day we weren't there when it was dark. The 4th, people were kind of around a little bit when it was dark, so it was a little different. But the first day, like after it got dark, like 8:30 or whatever, it started getting dark. No one was really coming anymore. Like it was like it was completely dead in our area for like the last, hour and a half that I was there, or 2 hours. So I was kind of like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta go. And I'm like, I think I'll be okay. There's no one here. I can run go to the bathroom. So I did. And like I said, I had texted my husband, and when I got back, I'm like, well, everyone else kind of packed up, so I think I can go too, because technically we were supposed to be there till 11, they said. No one was really checking anyway. But like I said, everyone had packed up, because no one was really, there buying anything anyway, so like, let's just go. It's so dark, So, and I wasn't sure what time my husband was planning on coming, because he knew I was supposed to be there till 11. So I texted him, and I'm like, hey, I think everyone left. Do you want to show up? And then I looked at the map, and oh, you're here. Okay. So then he showed up. I'm like, you could have came like 5 minutes earlier. I had to pee. But anyway, I just wanted to see what time that was, and it was 10:20 when I texted him. So we were there kind of late the first night, but not until 11 like they expected us to be. But anyway,
I'm still not there in the vlog yet, but I just wanted to see, talking about having to go to the bathroom. But the other days, my husband came earlier, so it wasn't as much of a problem. But that day, I'm like, oh God, I don't think I'm gonna make it. Oh, but I made it.
Could be like, and I have it. It could be. I brought stuff like link stuff that I could make more stuff, but it's really hot and it's really hard to do. It's hot and it's sunny, like I said. And I would like to get them done now though, so that I can relax a little bit when I'm at home, so I don't have to work on things tomorrow morning before I come here, which is what I was originally planning on doing.
So, again, I kind of said this, but like I said, like I'm saying in this video, and I think I said in a few other ones later, I was trying to bring stuff with me to make more, especially like the magnets, because I wanted to get those up. And I just couldn't do it. I didn't realize how much the heat was going to affect me, like trying to like do stuff. And I think the next day was when I actually did make like a 2-sided small sign. I managed to finish that, but because I was getting because people were buying some of the smaller signs and there seemed to be like the things people were interested in. So I'm like, oh bad, I should make some more. So I made one more. But anyway, I was able to do that, but I was trying to get some magnets done so I can get those displayed so that people could buy those. But I didn't end up doing them. Like it was too hard for me to do in the heat, just sitting there like with the sun beating on me and not really having a good spot to do it either. That didn't really help. But so that was my problem with the heat. Other than that, I mean, I had the fan behind me, as you see. It wasn't that bad. It's just that really it was the sun that bothered me, like sun beating on me. Like the temperature wasn't that bad. But it kind of like tires you out, if you've ever been like out in the sun all day. And that's what happened that night too, because I was exhausted. I got home that night. I was like, normally when I go to bed every day, like I'll go to bed and I'll be up for like an hour or two, like trying to fall asleep. Not that day.
If I get them done now, I can potentially sell more things, but also I don't have to work so much tomorrow before I can relax a little bit.
And the other thing is, like I kind of said before, I was worried about it at that point. Like, it's going to be more busy tomorrow. People are going to buy me out of stuff. I'm not going to have anything the last day. Like, I got to get some stuff done. And, people bought some stuff, but they didn't clean me out or anything. So, I was fine. But I was worried at that point. Like, I might need more stuff. And when am I going to have time to do it? I'm tired. Like, I don't want to, so.
But it's too hard. I'm going to see if I can push myself to do it. And then I'll stop talking to the camera so people think I'm talking to myself. Okay, exciting. I had someone who was interested in my signs is coming back to buy them later, hopefully. Anyway, I didn't actually offer this, but I have the ability, I thought I had to do this, to hold purchases for people. I probably should have said it, but I didn't. I didn't want to bother them. I know. It's something I had to get over. They were very nice. They were a couple. They were kind of heading out as you said, oh, let's wait. Thank you. Did you hear that?
If you didn't hear that, maybe I'll play another clip and enhance the sound or something. Someone's like, love your Employee of the Month sign as they walk by.
Anyway, I thought of this ahead of time where I get hold because I'm like at the festival. People probably aren't going to want to carry stuff around, especially big stuff. So I was like thinking that I should do like a hold thing. But it gets complicated too, where I have to take their information. So it may seem like they wanted to, not that they wanted to leave, but they're kind of walking around. So I don't want to bother. That's why I didn't. But anyway, I have that, I have that plan in place possibly if someone wants to hold something, but they have to purchase it first. I'm not going to hold things that people purchase. And there's the other complication, I'm not going to hold things from another booth. because I don't want the liability for that. So it's just my sign that I would be holding, not anything else. But anyway, so I think I made a sale. If they come back. She liked the porch one, which is $15, so I might have $15 today. It's like halfway to my most successful day. If it happens. But anyway.
The porch sign that was sold, the first one. Well, I'm spoiler alert, they actually did buy it. We're getting there. But I actually was looking at the one and I was like, I could have done that better. Like, I think if it doesn't sell, I'm going to sand it off and do it again. Well, she liked it. Okay, good. Like, whatever. But the thing I didn't like about it was it didn't have anything, like, if you compare, like, one of these signs that I made to one of the porch one that was sold, there's nothing around it, which is fine because I didn't know what to put on there. I didn't want to put flowers on all of them, not everyone's a girly flower person. So, I didn't know what to put on there. So, I mean, I didn't need anything on there. It's just what I needed to do if I wasn't going to put anything else on there is kind of make the lettering a little bigger so it fills out the sign a little more. So that's what was bothering me about it. But like I said, she liked it, the woman who ended up buying it. So I guess, just because I don't like it doesn't mean, someone else isn't going to like it. But the opposite is true too, because there's a bunch of things that I thought were like, oh my God, I bet you this is going to fly off the shelf, and it didn't, so anyway.
The couple was real nice. Like I said, the woman was actually in a wheelchair, and her husband came in. She was the one that was really interested, but the husband also seemed interested, so that was nice. And one of my signs that I have says, it's a smaller sign, it says, make yourself at home. He was like, oh, I don't know if I want that one. I'm like, yeah, it's a special person to have that kind of sign. But, they were very personable. It's easy to have a conversation with them.
And that sign. So I was trying to look for stuff when I was making these signs, because again, I was trying to get I was trying to do things as, like, even though that's kind of niche, I was trying to do things as general as possible, like home related stuff or Wisconsin related stuff, or because it was 4th of July related stuff on my signs. Get those done first, and then I can start making things more specific. I have like cats and dogs stuff too. Actually, I'm going to talk about that in a minute in the video, but trying to get like the general stuff kind of covered before I start making things more, which, by the way, I don't remember what day this was. It wasn't the first day, but there was a guy that came in and he looked at the signs and he's like, do you have anything more vulgar? And I'm like, sorry, I was trying to keep it more general. Like, I don't mind making something vulgar, but, it's more of a custom thing. Like, no, my booth isn't like vulgar things. Like, it's a family festival. Like, I'm not trying to but I thought that was kind of funny. He's like, you got anything vulgar? I'm like, no, not today, But anyway, I was trying to keep things more general. And the make yourself at home one, I'm kind of like, well, it depends on the person. Maybe they might like that, I don't. But it turned out to be a conversation starter. Well, not starter, continuer, I guess. Because, like I said, both the woman and the man was a little more extroverted. But he actually came into my booth. She was in a did I say that already? She was in a wheelchair, so she kind of stayed outside, but she saw the porch sign. She's like, I like that one. So he came in and he was looking at the other signs and he was asking me some questions and stuff, and like conversation was just flowing. But anyway, like he kept saying, oh, there's like a dog one here too. You might want that one. Like he was kind of like trying to sell her more of my stuff. I'm like, good job, buddy. Like, because she was the one who wanted it or whatever. But, like I said, like they were the best customers I had that whole time. Maybe even every other event I've been to so far too. Like they were great. I liked them a lot. First impression goes back to I don't think I mentioned that much in this video, kinda, but in my other video where I was talking about being an introvert, not really knowing how to start conversation with people, or like not wanting to bother people. Like, again, I kind of take their lead. Like, oh, you want to talk more? I don't mind talking. Like, we can talk. They made it really easy, and most customers aren't like that. So, I just really appreciate it. And I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but they did come back and buy it. We're going to see that in a minute on the video. But every time, like, because they ended up coming technically 3 times, because, again, I'm getting ahead of myself, but they said, okay, we're going to come back, in a minute. And then they came, like, for another pass at some point. And they're like, do you want to get this now or do you want to get later? And I'm like, well, I can hold. And then I was like, I can hold it for you if you want. Like, I can do that. And then they bought it and I held it. We're going to get to that in the video. And then they came back and got it, So I saw them 3 times that day. And they were real nice every time. And I hope they come back. They also liked one of the dog ones, so maybe I'll get that too. Maybe I can convince them to use the vending machine, because then they can pay $5 and possibly get $15 for their thing. We'll see. I didn't do that. So at the end of the event, and you're going to see this in the vending machine video, I ended up going through and seeing where all the bigger ones were. And they were all, like, hidden, like, way at the end. Like, one of them was on the bottom row at the end, and the rest of them, I shuffled them, and somehow they ended up all in the top row, but, like, not all at the end, but, like, in a clump, like, towards the end of the top row, and then there was, like, a couple $5 ones after it. So I'm like, I need to get better at shuffling. So I'm glad I didn't do this, because, that would have been mean of me, because it would have took a long time for people using this vending machine to actually reach, like, a bigger one. Like, there was all 5s for a while, so good thing I didn't actually end up doing that. I'll see if they come back and see if they seem in a hurry or whatever. I know I shouldn't worry about that, but I do. Anyway, I have to fix my iPad. Oh, I earlier on, I brought sunscreen. I put some on this arm because the sun was coming in, and then I decided to do my other arm and my legs. Now, I'm like, oh crap, I didn't do my face, so hopefully I didn't burn. I get red when I'm hot anyway, so you can't really tell if I'm burned. It might just be the heat. I don't feel burned, but anyway, put sunscreen. So, I actually, it's a cloud. And I was gonna say the sun got better. It's a cloud. And it does seem like it's getting worse, but hopefully the cloud stays. It's a big one. Alright. Just wanted to update on that. And wait, what time is it? Almost 5:30, so almost 2.5 hours. And I'm gonna do this every half hour. Okay, see you later. Hi, it's me again. Now I have copyrighted music playing, so hopefully I'm talking enough. I was gonna say, my one sign that I made, my one wood chunk sign that I made with an eagle on it, my dad has told me that he's interested in it. And I said, I can always make another one for you if it gets sold at the event. I think he's coming to the festival tomorrow, so he might buy it then. No one has said anything about it. I am surprised, because I thought for sure, like, even if they don't buy it, people would be like, oh, that's really cool, that eagle that you painted. I mean, I'm proud of it. I'm not usually like an artist that way. I'm a lettering artist. And I'll pop a picture of it on the screen. Let's see. But I thought more people would be like, oh my god, that's so cool. It's that specifically. And then I guess my dad's just the one that, was like eagle crazy and America and stuff like that. Anyway, it might be my dad's. Tomorrow, if no one buys it today. As you're gonna see, that was the couple interrupting me coming back. Okay, I had to interrupt because the couple came back and they bought their sign, and I'm holding it for them. Didn't do it exactly the way I wanted to, because I would get like their information to remind them, but she was like, oh, I'll put a reminder on my phone. So I'm like, all right, it's fine. So they're gonna come back for it, but they bought it. So, like I said, halfway to having like the best vendor day of my life so far. One item, pretty sad. All right. I was talking about something else though, wasn't I? I don't remember what it was. I got interrupted, but in a good way. Hello.
Anyway, I forgot what I was saying, but general comment now, things are picking up. And the cloud is still hiding the sun. Thank you, cloud. Thank you, cloud. Alright, it's been a little bit since my last video, but that's because there's been a lot of music going on. Well, I don't really know what has happened either. But, yeah, it's like almost 7. So I have 4 more hours, a little bit more. But anyway, the couple just came back and got their hanger that they left with me. So I don't have to worry about that. I was a little worried because I didn't get their information. They had to come back themselves. So they did. Right before that, got another sale for 2 of my small signs for $5. So I'm now up to $20. I mean, considering I paid $50 to be here for 3 days, I'm almost already even that way. Now with materials and everything, but you know. I thought of something else to say. My vending machine. People are still kind of iffy, like they don't really get it. But there was this little girl who was asking questions about it. And I told her you have to either spend $5 on a token or spend $30 in the booth, and then you'll get a free token. And so she was like, to her dad, I think it was her dad. Anyway, she's like, can I have $5? And he's like, what for? And then they left. So I almost got to see it used. But I'm pretty sure it'll happen for sure tomorrow. Like I said, it's not really the vending machine's problem. It's the fact that I have vouchers in there and there isn't a whole lot available for people to buy. Like I was planning on having more, although I don't know how I'd fit more in here. There's all kinds of stuff here. I actually have like an adequate amount for the space. If I added an extra shelf behind me that was originally in my layout, I could have had more space, but I don't have anything to put on there right now, so there's no point. Makes it much though. But anyway, I've sold 1 door hanger and 2 small signs so far. I gotta make more room if I'm gonna make more signs, because I don't really have any room for them. Or I have to bring my shelf tomorrow, which I guess I can do. That's why I think, you know, people are using the vending machine, because it's a voucher. If I had something in there that people could buy directly, it'd probably be better, but I don't, so at least not at this event. I don't really have anything to put in there either. But I have more events coming up later this year, and I have ideas for some of the stuff I can use in the vending machine rather than vouchers. Hey, I thought I charged my iPad. Why is it giving me the warning? I'll have to fix that. Yeah. But anyway, I guess I was expecting a little more interest, at least in, like, oh, that's awesome, but people have been like, what is that? So, well, I better stop, the music's starting soon. I think I'll fix my iPad. But anyway, just wanted to say that. Alright, another thing. I don't know if you can hear me. The flyers that I have, which are in lieu of, like, a business card, I've been giving them to the people that order stuff for me, or if someone like asks about stuff, I would give it to them. No one's asking really, they just say, oh, it's beautiful, they leave, which again is what I usually get. Well, I got that as cute 100 times today. But the problem is I don't have them out anywhere for people to scrap. But I'm trying to figure out how to do that. Right now I have them in I have to show you. Like a file thing. File, like a, you would put on a desk for like inbox, outbox kind of thing. And it's like the stuff I need back here, they can just grab real quick. But I don't really have anywhere to put them, because like weighting them down or whatever on the table, but then they're still accessible for people to grab. Which is why I should have cards, but I don't. Well, I do technically, I still have some cards, but they're kind of outdated, so that's why I don't use them. So I have these flyers instead, which are much better. They have QR codes on them, so hopefully it's easier for people to find my stuff, because apparently that's the problem. It's really loud. I don't know if you can even hear me. But yeah, I'm trying to figure that out right now. Like, how can I put those out for people to grab as they walk by if they're interested? Because usually I do have people that do that, not ask for them, they just grab when I've had them out before. Not these, obviously. My brochures and my cards that I had, they're both outdated. Trying to determine if I have something that I can put them in other than the thing I have them in now that people could use. I don't recall having anything at home. And I don't really want to go out and buy something. The problem is, like, a card or a brochure is a little more sturdy, like in the wind, a little more. This is just a piece of paper and it's gonna fall. It's gonna fly off the table. You know, fly away. I'm gonna be littering. I just had a quick thought and I'm like, no, that's not gonna work. I'm putting a sign up that says, ask for a brochure. So, other than like putting them down on a table somewhere and then putting like a rock on top of them or something, that's the best I can do. That might be what I have to do. But then, if it's like that, I don't know how many people are going to take them. Because they're like, oh, I have to pick up this rock to get it? That's too much work. Maybe have a sign that says, please take one. I don't know. I also have to pee. And I got 3.75 hours left. Haven't run into anyone I know yet, but that'll probably happen tomorrow. Assistant Chaz still stealing hearts out here. And he's way in the back, and people are still like, oh, look at the kitty. So, good news, I think I've perfected the smile and nod. That's not a good version. I can't fake it. You know, it's like, even that looks bad. Like I said, I can't force it. I'm really bad at it. So, these people in particular that are like across from me, that are facing me, they keep looking at me like I'm crazy. I try to put my phone up so they know I'm talking to my phone, like I'm doing now. But I think they think I'm crazy, legitimately. So, maybe I should stop. So some lady just came up to my booth, looked at my vending machine, laughed, and walked away. I guess she thought it was funny. I don't get it, but okay. Anyway, not much has happened since the last time I talked to you. It's about 8 now. So, I'll let you go. I'm kind of cleaning things up in the back here. I'm trying to get rid of stuff that I'm not going to use for tomorrow. Why didn't you get any footage? Tomorrow's probably going to be busy. Whoa, look at all those people. Where'd they come from? You can't see what I'm talking about. The flash mob. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say. Bye. So that was the end of my day one. Yeah, the flash mob at the end. There was just a bunch of people that like were coming towards our area, like all at once, and then none of them bought anything or whatever. And this was kind of shortly before it started getting dark. But also the lady that laughed at my vending machine, I kind of forgot about that, but like, yeah, she went up, she's like looking at my sign, looking at the vending machine, and she left. I'm like, okay, too many beers or something, you know? I don't know. But anyway, so that was that. So then, yeah, the end of day one. So before it started getting really dark, I started putting up these lights that I had around the tent. I didn't get a good clip of that either. You can kind of see it next day in my footage from like showing off the booth or whatever. I'll try to point them out if I can. But I didn't have them on when they were lit up, so you can see them lit up or anything. But I did that, that's something I did that night before it started getting really dark. And then I also had some lanterns out
that I brought along with me. I'll show you that in my displays and stuff video. But that's what I did. And then I went pee. And then I'm like, hey, to my husband, like, you should probably show up. And then he was here. So that's how that went. And again, I told you kind of how we put everything up. Like, we put all the products in those totes that I showed you earlier, put them under the table, took my money, all the important stuff out of the checkout stand. And, I had some backpacks that I brought with me that I just brought, like, the thing that I was taking home. And I think I also had these. Ooh, do I have a version of these somewhere real quick that I can show you? Hold on a second. It's still full of stuff because I haven't cleaned everything yet. But we're going to talk about some of this stuff in the products and stuff video. But anyway, this is what I really wanted to show you was this tote. So it's collapsible. So I was bringing these every day, and then I'd collapse them and keep them under my checkout stand. Oh, look at my shirt. Let's fix that. Anyway, I was collapsing them, putting them on my checkout stand, and then I would take them at the end of the night and put whatever I was going to put in here. Like, oh, I'm not bringing this back tomorrow. And I brought all that back, and then I'd bring the tote back and collapse it and put it under the checkout stand. So these were really helpful. Something I'm going to talk more about in the display video. But anyway, so I was doing that. And then I had backpacks that I was bringing, like, all the important stuff with me. And whatever else didn't fit in the tote or whatever back home. And then I would bring all that back with me. So that's how it pretty much went both nights. And I already kind of talked about, like, the weather the next morning or whatever when we came in on day 2. But that was like the first night we came back, and it was just kind of the little bit of water issues that we had. But other than that, everything was fine. And then we're going to talk more about day 2 in a minute here. But I think I talked I don't think I have anything to add from what I said earlier about day 2 or the night in between or whatever. So let's get on to day 2 then. All right. So then moving on to day 2, I have less and less clips, like I said. So I decorated a little bit for 4th of July, and that was the only day that I put these things up. There was a little flag banner that I had that I put on my checkout stand. And then I had, like, some little flags that I put around the, actually, they were on the grid wall with the door hangers. And you might see those in the video that I'm going to show. But I also put up pictures that I had printed out of my work. This was, like, very beginner level, I guess I would say. I just printed them out at home on, like, regular paper and taped them up on the wall. I actually wanted to pin them on the wall initially, but ended up not doing that. Bought pins, but I didn't actually do it. I just used tape. So, but that I put up that day, and they were up both the 2nd and 3rd days then after that. But then, it shows more of, like, oh, this is everything I've done. And a lot of them also have my face in them, so they know I'm actually making things. Like, I'm not just stealing work from people. Don't do that. Don't you dare do that. So I put that up. So you're going to see a quick view of the booth first in the clips. And then you can kind of see the lights that I put up on the top, too, if you look at the top layer or top, where the wall meets the ceiling of the tent. What's that called? The crown molding. Whatever, that area. You can kind of see the lights that I was talking about that I put up that night. But again, you don't see them lit up. But, there was a few things that were bought, but not much. So it's not really that different from the first day, except things may be in a little bit different spot because I took everything down, the night of, and then I put it back out. But there's all my pictures as well.
Alright, it's day 2 now. I was really exhausted last night, so I didn't really have a chance to talk about much. I'm going to do that probably later today or some other time, because right now I don't have a lot of time to talk. I'm rested. It rained a little last night, so we had some problems with that, but I was able to put up some decorations today for Independence Day. It's actually July 4th. Put up lights last night to
to light up the tent on this, around the frame on here. But not much different. I ended up, I think I said in the video, but I ended up selling, $15 door hanger, and then 2 of my small signs for $5, and then 1 for $3, because it's a 3 or buy 2 for $5. So I made 20 bucks. 23 bucks. Which is, I think I made 24 at my event.
No, I made 26 actually at that one.
Stonewood Village.
So I almost met it.
Last year for fall, which I'm doing
that day.
This year. Where I sold a bunch of ornaments. I think I sold $24 worth that day, so I almost tied for that. But we'll see. I think I'm getting more traffic today, so we'll see what happens. Plus, I also put up, I forgot this, put up these examples of my work, my custom work, that I'm really trying to push. Hello.
So, yeah, my dad's the one that showed up and interrupted me at the end of that one. Well, my mom and my dad. It was actually right, it was like the grounds weren't open technically yet, but they showed up. So kind of caught me by surprise because I knew they were coming eventually because he had texted me in the morning or whatever, but I was like not expecting them then. But anyway, so yeah, my dad came in. They had went to the parade for a bit, which was before, and then the grounds were opening at 2. Well, they got there like 1:45, and I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, I'm not ready. So they didn't stay long. My dad, it was hot, and my dad was kind of overheating and stuff, so he's like, I gotta get out of here, it's too hot. So he didn't end up buying anything. He didn't use the vending machine either. But they stopped and visited for a while, and they talked to me, and it was nice, and they saw my booth. And my dad also, so I knew he liked the eagle thing, which he still hasn't offered to buy yet either. He said that day he might buy it, but then he didn't. And then like my neck of the woods ones, my door hanger and my the other one I have, he was thinking of getting those for these friends of ours that have been friends of the family the whole life, and they have a cabin, and we've been up to their like, I don't go that much anymore, but when I was a kid, like, I used to go up to their cabin and stuff, and thinking about getting it for them. And I'm like, well, if no one buys it, you can buy it. Didn't buy either one of those either. I thought he was gonna, but so if he would have, I would have definitely made my sales back, but thanks a lot, Dad. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, he might still buy those at some point. But also, his birthday's coming up, so I'll probably, if he doesn't buy it by then, I'll probably give him the eagle one by then. Or make another one for him. Anyway, so that was who interrupted me there. The next clip is getting ahead of it, but when someone finally does use the vending machine, and she was the only one to use it, so you're going to hear about that. I'm not sure if I have any more to say other than what I say in the video, so let's see. Alright, just had someone buy a token for the vending machine. So it happened. It wasn't my dad, who is, by the way, who came over while I stopped the video. She's like, I'm a gambler, I'm going to play. Okay, cool. And so that worked out. And I made sure she knew what she was getting. I'm like, you can either get 5, 10, 15, or 20 to spend in the booth or future. She was like, let's go. So I attracted the right person with the vending machine that time. But otherwise, a lot of people are like, it's not worth it. But she was great. But she bought 2 of my small signs for $5, so, because she got 5, she didn't get anything extra, but it worked. It works for some people, so good to know. And I do talk about the story a little bit more because I had filmed that already in my vending machine video, so if you want to hear more about that, it'll be in that video. Alright, mental note. With my small signs and the other ones that are like this too, that are 2-sided, I think what I need to add to my signage is flip me over. So a lot of people aren't seeing. I have that on my sign. I say that they're 2-sided, and I say front, back. People aren't really getting it by themselves. I have to tell them, by themselves, I'm sorry. But I have to tell them, like, oh, those are 2-sided. And then they're always like, oh, And it's a great deal when they buy them, but, they don't figure that out themselves from the sign. I have to make that better. So I think adding flip me over would help. I don't know why I didn't do that already, but that's alone.
Yeah, so those small signs, I'll pop a picture of what the sign looked like for at least those. It was the same for the other ones that are two-sided as well. But like I said, like I have front, back, they're two-sided, but they don't see all that. I think adding flip me over, I'm two-sided or something on it might help. Also, these signs in general, I want to make them better eventually. I just always run out of time, so I just quickly make something quick and then print it out. I want to make more permanent signage for stuff like that I'm planning on always having, like these small signs. They sell well, so I keep want to make those. And I do want to make them two-sided because to me, like, what's the point of having a blank back? Like, if there's nothing back there to hang or anything, like, it's usually just you, like, lean it against something or, you put it up on a shelf. Well, you can just flip it over and then it's got a different season on it or whatever, that's what I do with them. So, but like I said, they say, like, two-sided, front, back, but I don't think anyone got that without me telling them. And some people I didn't even bother telling because they're just kind of picking it up and then they go, okay, they leave. But then the people that are really looking at them, like, those are two-sided, right? They got another side in the back. And they're like, oh, cool. I had to move because the sun is bothering me again, like, even more than yesterday. I'm having a thought I want to share. So it's a different type of festival. What I mean by different type of festival is it's like the festival is a big festival. The festival is like a big festival for the 4th of July for the city. And this is just a small part of it, the craft market, the small business market that they have. And people aren't here, for us. They're here for the festival and we're kind of extra. And I'm here, I was here 9 hours today, 8 hours yesterday. Well, almost. I left a little early. And then tomorrow I'm going to be here for 11 hours. And it's questionable whether it's worth my time. I mean, it kind of is because I have actually somehow gained a few followers on my social media, like, because I've been giving out my flyers when people buy something or if they express interest. And my flyer is specifically says, please like and follow. I need all the help I can get on my social media, basically. Not those exact words, but something like that. So, that has helped, I think. I don't really like to beg for it like that, but, like I said earlier, people don't do it unless you beg. I used to think that wasn't the case, but now I'm on the other side of it. So, it's worth it in that way, because I've got some followers and I'm getting a local following, especially like in my own city or the surrounding areas. But it's kind of worth it for me, I think. But there's a few other people around here that I don't think it's worth, because they're not like a legitimate business like I am. I'm not trying to say it that way, but and I'm trying to get started, so it is kind of worth it for me. But the difference, what I was trying to say also is, like, all the other, well, not all of them, most of the other events I've done have been craft markets specifically, and people are there to spend money at a craft market, on the booths. Whereas here, they've got all these other things to spend money on, and they have to give extra money to buy stuff from me, right? So, but I think at least as far as like the visibility and the social media following that I'm getting, I'm doing okay, and I appreciate that. But that's what I wanted to say. Okay, so real quickly, I'm just going to read the part of my flyer that says this. It says, well, I'll just read the whole thing. I don't have an online shop set up currently. It's complicated. That's true. So if you're interested in products or services, make sure you are following at least one of these accounts to keep in touch. Also, I appreciate any likes and follows. The algorithms aren't very nice to me yet, too small, which is true. So that's what I meant by like, please follow me. Like I need your help. And then I have my Facebook business page, my local Facebook group, which no one's joined that yet, but I have to do a better job of advertising what exactly that's for. Instagram, just for my local business, and then my Substack, which is my newsletter for my local business. I have Substacks for all kinds of stuff, but I need to get better about setting those up too. And so I can talk about that more on these videos, but I have a bunch of different ones. That's what I'm trying to say. But anyway, so I have that all on there, and then on the back, I have links to my online content like this, my YouTube, and my TikTok, which is just general, and then my regular Facebook. That's not my local Facebook page, like my Facebook that has like the tutorials and stuff on it, and my Instagram that's the same, and my Pinterest account. So that's what I have on my flyer, by the way. If you're wondering, we're going to talk more about that when I talk about displays and stuff. Even though it's not technically a display, but that's what's going to be on there. The rest of this video is just a little bit from the fireworks. So I'll let that play while I talk. But anyway, probably shouldn't have done that. Okay. Like I said, day 2 was not as, like I said, I thought I would be more busy, because of the fireworks and because it was July 4th and because it was Friday and not Thursday. I thought there were more people there in general. I think it's just over in our area there weren't. So it wasn't like busier. Like I thought, Thursday's probably going to be the slow day. And Thursday was actually the better day, the best day out of all of them, which is weird. Anyway, okay, so yeah, that's all I have for day 2, and day 3 is even shorter. So let's just get through this, and then if there's anything else to say, I will say it. Otherwise, I think we're pretty much done here. But let's go. This is day 3. By the way, yes, I'm wearing the same dress as I was day 1. I washed it, okay? I washed it in between. But I wanted to, first of all, it was so hot, so I wanted to wear a dress and not like pants or shorts even. It was much better wearing a dress. And then I wanted to be kind of 4th of July-ish, so that one is like striped blue. And the one I was wearing day 2 in the middle was red. So, and then I had that little star necklace that I got, and then the hair thing. But I was trying to look a little festive, But anyway, so it was washed, okay? All right, it's the last day. I'm not quite done setting up here yet. I'm going to show you what I got so far. I'll show you at the end too. But I did take some stuff away yesterday to try to lessen the load today, taking out. Talk more about that probably in length later. But I brought sunglasses today, but I might not need them because you're going to see the place I'm sitting is back now, so that the sun probably is not even going to hit me anymore. So, but I brought sunglasses anyway in case I get up and need it. It's really windy today. We got some issues. So we'll see what we do with that. But that's it so far. I'll let you know more in a minute. Yeah, so if you can see, like the tent next to me was like billowing out because they have those solid walls. That was happening like all day. They weren't there yet at that point, or they were just starting to set up or something. So, and like I said, they didn't like technically like damage my tent or anything, but it was kind of like watching them struggle all day, like with the blowing and everything. Whereas I had the mesh walls, and they were working a lot better. But I ended up having, I don't say it so much in this video anyway, so I'll just say it now. I ended up having to like tape everything down, like as much as possible. And I had taken one of the grid walls down the night before. I had taken one of the checkout stands down, like I said. And some of the products that I knew weren't going to sell, like the Christmas and the Halloween door hangers that I had. I'm like, no one's buying these anyway. I'm going to get rid of those. Some of the bigger signs, I wanted to keep all the 4th of July stuff because that was more relevant. But like all the stuff that I didn't think I needed that day was like, nope, don't need this anymore. Keep it bare bones for the third day, because then we can try to load the my husband's car up with everything, and we just made it. Like, so we take one trip. I mean, we could have probably took two if we had to, but like it was like, okay. But like I said, we had the wagon, so that took up some space too. But that's also why I was trying to get rid of stuff. I'm like, we're going to have the wagon tomorrow so we can get everything out. Like, because even if we didn't leave early at 8, like, because of the storm, like I said earlier, I wanted to get everything, like, out. Like, if we're leaving at, like, 9 or 9:10 or 9:30, 10, whatever it was, I wanted to get, like, nope, we're taking one trip to the car. Let's go. We're out. So, anyway, so I had pared down everything. And you'll see kind of the difference when I show you the one video of, like, because I took one every day of what everything looked like. But anyway, so the door hangers that were left, they were on S-hooks on the grid wall. I taped the S-hook to the grid wall with, I don't have it here. I will pop up on the screen the tape that I used. It was strong. And it was, the whole day I was trying to be like, there was this thing I remembered from a movie. And I was like, what is that from? I can't remember. Because there was like a character in the background. It's like, damn you strong or something. So I kept saying that in my head, like, damn you strong with the tape. Because the tape was amazing. And when I was trying to take things down later that day, it was like, I can't even, like, I have to cut it. Like, I can't even take it down. So this tape is awesome. Right here. This stuff right here. It's great. The movie it came from... I looked it up. Now I don't remember what it was again. You know what? I'm going to have to look it up again. Damn you strong. Hot Tub Time Machine. That's what it was. If you watch that movie, it's Crispin Glover's character before he loses his arm when they're on the roof or whatever.
Damn you strong.
So, that's what it was from. And I was like trying to figure it out. And then I forgot again. But anyway, that was playing in my head because this tape, it was amazing. But anyway, so I had all that tape. Then I also had the Visit Truss design that I just brought over a little while ago. That was in the corner every day, and I had that taped. And I also put in stakes, like, in front of it. So it would kind of hold it back. But then I taped the top to the tent. And there were a couple times I had to get up and kind of make sure that tape was stuck. Because of the way it was, like, it wasn't taped, like, perfectly. You know, so I had to keep, like... And there were a couple times I got up just to check it. Like, it wasn't like it was coming off. But I just wanted to, okay, I'm just going to... Since I'm up, I'm going to, like, reinforce it a little bit. So I did that throughout the day. And because before I did that, it fell over once. And I'm like, oh, that's going to hit someone. It's dangerous. I got to do something. So I taped it up. And for the most part, like I said, I had to fix it a couple times through the day. And I noticed it starting to kind of flap a little bit. I'm like, okay, I got to go fix it. But for the most part, the tape even held that up. But it was really good on the door hangers. So I highly recommend this tape, honestly. It saved my life on the windy day. And I'm going to show you, there's a video, well, I took a couple, but I think I only put one in here, of, like, how much they were flapping in the wind, you know? And actually, even the best video that I got, there were times where it was worse than that. So, like, the best video as far as, like, showing you what was happening. There were times where they were flying around even more than that. But the tape... None of those I had a problem with falling down or anything like that. In fact, one person bought one of them that day, and I had to, like, fight with it to get it off. That tape was amazing. That's all I gotta say. So we'll see what we do with that. But that's it so far. I'll let you know more in a minute. So this was before I set up all together. This was kind of, my husband had gone back to the car to get something, so I was like, I'm gonna film a video real quick while you're gone. But this is what it looked like, you know, before, and this is now the setup. You can kind of see the tape on the sign. That's not, I ended up putting more on there, like I said, because that wasn't really working quite right, but the door hangers were all taped up. You can see the thing fell out of the checkout stand. And honestly, a lot of these taped up signs didn't come off. Even the other day, I had to kind of reinforce some of the tape. Even the day when it wasn't super windy. So just like the same amount was that day, but with that strong wind, it didn't like make anything worse over there, which is crazy. But anyway, so this is some of the footage of the windy. It gets like I have a better one coming up soon. Yeah, this is. But I didn't get this on video, but there was one where I think it was that brown one on the bottom there. It's really going. I think it was actually flipped over at once. So.
Damn, you strong!
But you can also see there's more tape over there on that sign, the visit sign. But that was what I had to kind of keep reinforcing, like I said. The original video where I was showing you where everything was set up. The signs that I had on the bench in front, the two on the end there, the bigger ones, they ended up sometimes falling over and I had to go fix those. But the rest of it stayed pretty well, actually. I was surprised that I didn't have more of a mess throughout the day because it was windy consistently throughout the day. But it's the first time I encountered like that kind of weather at an event. Also, those acrylic signs that I have at the checkout stand, those I had taped down, but I reinforced them as much as possible that day because they were starting to fall over a little more. But it also helped this day because they were taped to the actual checkout stand, whereas the day before they were taped to that table that I had on the end, which I took home. And I had it like a tablecloth, so they were taped to the tablecloth, which even on the not as windy days, those were falling over a little bit. I'm going to talk about this more in my general tips video, or maybe even my product display videos. I recently learned kind of a couple tricks for that I might implement my next time. So I'll talk about that then. With the wind the way it was too, it was hard to film a vlog anyway. And I was just kind of concerned about, I didn't want to be too distracted because I was trying to monitor all the wind and I hope nothing falls over and kills someone, like my visit sign. I don't think it would kill someone, but it would hurt them possibly, and especially if it's a small child. But anyway, so I was really focused on that and not really taking video. But towards the end of the night, so the night before on July 4th, when we left, when my husband first got there that day, and I don't remember exactly what time it was, but it was earlier than the day before. Well, obviously, because the fireworks started at 10, so we were going to pack up the tent and then go watch the fireworks and then leave, and that's what we ended up doing. So I think he came at 9 or something. Well, anyway, when he got there, maybe it was 8:30, he got there and he's like, well, do you want to eat or something? I can go and see what they have for food. And so he went around and looked, and he's like, the lines are super huge. I don't want to stay in line. And I'm like, that's fine. We'll just get something when we leave. We'll just go to, and I said, why don't we go to Taco Bell? We haven't been there in a while, and they're open late, So we get to Taco Bell and there's a giant line at Taco Bell. I'm like, geez. So we end up going to McDonald's instead. I know, not super healthy or anything, but then I was like, we haven't had Taco Bell in so long. I've been kind of craving it or whatever. It'd been years since we had Taco Bell. And so on the third day, he's like, maybe, I'll come a little earlier, to have dinner with you or whatever, and I'll bring you some Taco Bell. So he ended up smuggling in some Taco Bell. I'm pretty sure it wasn't against the rules because I don't think they had any carry-in policy or whatever, and people were bringing all kinds of stuff in. They were bringing their own canopies and stuff, to put out there, and chairs. And I'm pretty sure some of them had coolers. I don't think anyone was checking, when they came in. There wasn't, an admission fee or anything. You just come into the park. So I'm pretty sure people brought food in. It wasn't just us. So anyway, he brought tacos to me. And I actually have a little bit of footage of that if you want to see. When he was coming. But the other thing was that I'll mention, and if I play the video, it's actually on there too. I had noticed, because again, I was looking at the map and I have his location or whatever. He was at Taco Bell at 4:20. I thought that was hilarious. But anyway, so he shows up with tacos. We eat the tacos. Then he left. And then like a couple, like a, I don't, let me see. Hold on. Let me see if I have text message history that'll help me remember exactly. Well, no, I texted at 5:30 and I said there may be a storm coming tonight, so if you come at 8 or a little before, that will be good. I'll let you know if it changes. And that was at 5:30, and that was after he had left with the tacos, or after the tacos. And then at like 6:58, I said, I was just told by someone from the city to start taking stuff down because of the weather, so whenever you want to come. And he's like, on my way. So that was at like 7. So like he was there at like 4:30 to like 5-ish or whatever. And then he had to come back like a few hours later to help me pack up or whatever. But we were already kind of anticipating the storm. So that's why I said like probably 8 o'clock or so. If you want to come, like that should be fine. I'll start taking stuff down before you get here and then we'll just go. Because the storm looked like it was coming like 8:30-ish. So that's what I told him initially. Then I got word, okay, we're shutting things down. You got to be out of here by 8. So I'm like, all right. Like, so that's how that went. But anyway, I'll show you the Taco Bell video real quick. Did you know you were at Taco Bell at 4:20?
I did not.
I took a screenshot. That was that. The other thing, so that independent dance, it said back there. So that tent, like I said, they had some stuff there, but that was like the deadest thing I've ever seen. So it was supposed to be a like teenager friendly dance party that was supposed to be there. And like they had a rule where you couldn't have any alcohol in the tent. It says no alcohol in the tent. And it said that on all the advertising and stuff. And then they had like someone across from it over there, I was here, selling mocktails. So you could have mocktails. Like you could buy mocktails and then you could go in the tent or whatever. I mean, I thought it was kind of a neat idea, but they, no one really used it. At one point, like, I think, because one of the mocktail ladies that worked over there came over to my booth at one point in the morning and was kind of like, oh, you do this? And she was talking to me or whatever. And she's like, oh, we have the mocktails over there if you're interested. I didn't buy one, but, you know, I didn't really want to leave my tent. But anyway, she had come over. And I saw her and another one, because they had a few people at their tent. Her and like another woman that were working at her mocktail tent went in there and danced for a while. But then the only other person I saw, there was a woman and like 3 kids or 3 or 4 kids in there. At one point, I think she was like, oh, let's use the tent and let's dance. But like that was all that was in there the whole time. And they had to end up packing up early too. Like, because they had to leave by 8 too. So it was kind of sad. Like they had like I saw them setting up their tent and everything. But it was kind of nice too, because like we got some music, like, you know, and I was kind of worried because they're like, oh, teen friendly music. I'm like, I don't listen to new music anymore. I'm old. You know, I'm not going to know any of these songs. And I knew a lot of them. I'm like, okay, this is not so bad. Like, I know some of these songs, you know, sorry, I'm old. But anyway, it was kind of sad because like no one was there. But like I noticed me and a few other of the vendors in our tents were kind of dancing around like, oh, music, like, you know. But we weren't in the tent. But it wasn't used for its intended purpose. Like there were no teenagers in there whatsoever. So again, it might have been, like I said earlier, they didn't advertise it correctly or whatever, because like I said, I mean, all the other things that happened in that tent, there were people there for the intended purpose. But I feel like they could have got more people if, you know, they had a sign that said North Tent this way, Activity Tent this way, and Small Business Market this way. Like, they really need that sign. They really should, you know, I guess, you know, it's up to me to be like, I can make a sign for you. They haven't even, like, I haven't gotten like a follow-up email from them at all, and it's the 17th now when I'm filming this, and it was the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Like I kind of like a thank you or like, hey, how did everything go, or like I didn't get any of that, you know. And again, I didn't say this in this video, but in my first video I talked about how like I went to school for event planning. And it kind of bothers me because it's like that's an essential part. Like you thank your volunteers or you thank your vendors, you know, like you send out like a goodbye post or a email or something, you know? Like I feel kind of like normally they're more on the ball in the city. I don't know what happened with this festival, but you know, I'm a little off put by it. But I'm kind of waiting to see if they ask for feedback because then I can be like, yeah, by the way, you can do this, and I can help you. Call me, like, you know, or email me. But like I said, if they end up like advertising this again next year, because I am planning on doing it, then I will probably be like, hey, by the way, I noticed last year like a lot of people weren't here. Would you like me to make a sign that you can put like maybe a couple of different signs that you can put like, hey, there's more stuff over here, like, you know? But I think that was part of the problem. But also, I mean, I don't know how many teenagers were there, you know? And it's the middle of the summer. It's not like you can advertise in school, you know? So they're like, they would know about it more. I don't know. Like I said, I thought it was kind of a neat idea. It's just I don't think they marketed it properly. But this was also, I think, the first year that they tried that. So maybe they learned. I don't know. But I could certainly, you know, give some suggestions. But anyway, yeah, I don't think I have much else to say other than what I already said in the beginning. So that was how everything went. This is the vlog. Now, in other episodes, I said I'm going to do the vending machine. That's the next one. Layout options, the tent layout options. I have a video already filmed about that. I might add a little to it, but you know, all of that, I think it's pretty much done. So then I haven't done this one yet. I'm going to talk about all the products I have. I'm going to be filming that next. All the products I have left over, all the ones that sold, you know, and kind of explain how I did them. Because you kind of saw a little bit of that in this video, but not really. And then how I displayed them and how like my tent was kind of set up on the day of, not the layout. I mean, a little bit of that too, but like the products I use to display things and like how it worked and like if I think I need something else or what might work with different products or stuff like that. So I want to talk about that in that video. And then I have another video that's just general tips overall through all the events I've done so far. And so I'm part of a Facebook group that's about like vendor event setups and stuff like that. And I see a lot of advice in there that doesn't really apply to me, or it's stuff I haven't encountered yet or whatever that I could share as well that maybe you haven't seen. So I want to kind of make a video about that as well. That'll be more helpful even if you don't make signs like I do or anything like that. So that's what the last episode is going to be about. So that'll be 6 episodes. And then I think I said earlier in this video, I want to make after I do these next couple events, because I have one in August, a couple, like a month from now, a little bit more. And then I have one in September, October, and then I have one in December this year. So after I do all those, I'm planning on doing another like revisit video early next year, 2026. Like January-ish, where I might film some stuff while I'm preparing for those events for that video, but it'll be kind of a add-on to this. Like, this is what I've learned since then, you know, and this is what helps now, you know, that kind of stuff. So that'll come out, like I said, early 2026. So depending on when you're watching this, might be ready. But anyway, I was hoping that, you know, my experiences would be helpful for people and explaining what I'm doing and everything. So I hope you got something from it. But that's it for this video. See you in the next one, which is the vending machine.